All right, let's go to Robert in Midland. Hi, Robert. Thanks for calling and welcome.
Thanks, Lynn, for having Miss Medina on.
You bet.
Miss Medina, I sure do appreciate you running for governor. I now feel like I can now vote for someone that's not a lesser of two evils. And you will be getting my vote. But the question I have for you is, if things get so bad with the federal government trying to meddle into Texas government, do you foresee any chance of this country or Texas succeeding from the Union if it gets so bad? Would you even consider it?
I think that we've got our head in a hole in the sand if we think that that is not a possibility. We've seen every republic fall when it gets to the condition that ours is headed towards. However, I have said that there are two tools available to us, nullification and interposition. Those are the tools that the founders identified as the means for the states to stand sovereign. We need to use those tools, and we need to use them aggressively. They have not even been given lip service in the last 8 or 10 years here, probably in the last 40 years here in Texas. They're available. We ought to be using nullification, interposition aggressively to defend Texas state sovereignty.
All right. We'll go to break. We'll come back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Lynn Woolley Show. Debra Medina is our guest. She's running for the governor, actually for the nomination for the Republican slot for governor. She's up against Rick Perry, the incumbent governor, and Bailey Hutchison, the incumbent senator, who is maybe resigned, unless she doesn't resign, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, I disagree with Glenn from this standpoint on Debra Medina is not a waste of time. Folks, if you were to decide that you didn't want to vote for Bailey Hutchison or Rick Perry, and you cast a vote for Debra Medina, and Bailey or Rick Perry gets the nomination, you still have a chance to vote for either one of them over the liberal Democrat. So it's not going to hurt anything. I mean, if you're thinking, well, this will throw the race to some liberal, that's not the case. So, you could seriously consider voting for whom you want to here. Because this is a primary. This is not the general election. There will be a Republican candidate still in the race, regardless of what happens. All right, let's go to KV in Crane, Texas. Hi, KV. Welcome, and you're on with Debra Medina.
Hello, Lynn and Debra. I just wanted to say that I'm not interested in voting for anyone who's not willing to work tirelessly to get this runaway federal government shut down. And
KV, we've got a problem with your phone line. You're coming in and out. Did you have a question for Debra?
Is she willing to work tirelessly to turn our government to a constitutional, very limited government?
All right, I think I got it, Debra. If you didn't hear that, he wants to know, are you willing to work tirelessly to work toward a constitutional government with limited government?
Been on that job since last February, Lynn, when I decided to get into this race, recognizing that running a winning campaign was important, but equally important was being prepared to govern the great state of Texas, the 13th largest economy in the world, and started in February, 8 months ago, preparing to govern Texas to a constitutional republic, to a sovereign state in the greatest nation on the earth, you bet.
By the way, someone called and then dropped off, wanted you to clarify nullification.
Nullification is the process that the legislature uses to say federal government has no authority under our Constitution. Montana's legislature, for example, nullified Real ID several years ago, recognizing the federal government had no constitutional authority for that federal mandate. They've nullified some federal gun and ammunition stuff in this past session. Texas needs to get on board that nullification train. There's lots of opportunity. Is it in agriculture, education? I've said Texas does not need Washington to tell us how to educate our kids. We will do that here in Texas. We ought to be nullifying federal education mandates. We ought to be nullifying ag mandates. We ought to be nullifying energy. We ought to be nullifying health care. Federal government has no business, no constitutional authority in any of those areas of our lives.
All right, let's go to Mike in Odessa for Debra Medina. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Lynn. Hi, Miss Medina.
Good morning, Mike.
Yes, ma'am. Just a few months ago when you were on land, this is the first time I heard of you. But let me tell you real quick, you are a breath of fresh air, and I got my circle of friends that also like you very much. And I'm not sure if Glenn's pessimism earlier is right or not, but I think at the very least you can send a major point to the other two candidates that they need to straighten out and stick to what what elected him in the first place.
Believe what I'm talking about to the core of my being, and I'm fighting as hard as I can, Mike. We've got people all over Texas who are taking up arms with us. I hope you'll do that. We can win this. Our founders went up against King George. That was certainly a battle of greater proportions than this one is. It is courage and bravery that wins freedom, and Texans have that. We have to exercise it. Now's our time, and for such a time as this, a little candidate that nobody gave much of a shot is going to win the Republican primary in March of 2010.
All right, we are very low on time. Rusty, Rusty in Moody, Texas, do you have a quick question?
Yes, real quick. I got a bad echo on my phone. I hope I can get through this.
Okay, Rusty, I got like 10 seconds here.
Okay, can't do it, Lynn.
All right, thanks, Rusty. Deborah, I appreciate you being with us. We're just out of time. We're leaving calls hanging, so we'll have to do this again one of these days. But thanks so much for being with us. Congratulations on your campaign, and we'll have you back on soon.
Thank you, Lynn.